Guys, imagine you've just landed in the UK and then you know where you're going. You've been picked from the airport, you go to your Airbnb and stuff, but then you have to start work and everything. And one of the biggest nightmares that you can imagine is having to look for a rental property. It's a whole different ballgame altogether, and you can feel like you're about to solve a puzzle that's unsolvable because of all the paperwork, all the rules, all the things that you need to put in place, and the whole process is just a nightmare. But guys, I thought, well, there are things that I did that actually made that quite easier, and today I want to share with you how, or maybe the steps that you take for you to find a rental property in the UK if you're a foreigner. And guys, a big welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is Florence, and on this platform we do talk about life in the diaspora, life abroad. And I moved to the UK 2 years ago, and so all the things I share on this platform are based on my experiences, some of the things I'm going through them, and also some are based on stories that I hear from family, friends, and colleagues. And it's just my opinion and my way of just sharing so that maybe someone can find help. And guys, today we're talking about finding a rental property in the UK, finding a house in the UK, because apparently this can really mess your head up. This can really make you not enjoy your relocation journey, because I've been there, I've done that. So we're going to talk about all the steps, all the requirements that you need to go through, how to do it, and what agencies to use if you're looking for a rental property, how to navigate all the documents that are required for you to do so. So guys, without wasting much time, let's get right straight into it. So first and foremost, when you're looking for a rental property in the UK, is maybe for you to know your rental property requirements, which is probably, are you on your own? Are you looking for shared accommodation? Are you a family? How big is your family? How probably maybe you have children. What ages are they? Can they share rooms? Do they require each their room? So that way you get an idea of what sort of a property will you need. The second thing that you need to know is to know your budget. We cannot talk about things like properties, things about rental properties, and not talk about the budget, because it's very, very important that you know what sort of a budget are you working with. So this will go on to entail how much rental are you willing to commit to, how much will your council tax be in that property, how much will your utilities be, which is like your water, your electric and gas, and also all the other bills for that area that you want to look at. So that way you'll be able to plan. And one of the things that I learned in this country, or one of the things that was recommended to me, was that make sure that your rent is not more than 30% of your income. But guys, it's difficult, especially if you're alone. Cost of living has just gone high, rentals are just skyrocketing, but it does help if you got a partner, or if you're married, if you're a couple, it does help. So no wonder why for single people they choose like shared accommodation, so that you can actually manage that. The third thing that you need to do is to decide on your location. Guys, again, there are pointers in which to use. I think I shared a video about how we decided to move up north when we moved to the UK. Partly it was because of cost of living and everything else that is involved. So it's very, very key. Location is key. Also, when you're choosing this your rental property, when we talk location, we're talking if you're a family and you've got children, you want to be somewhere that's closer to schools. You want to be somewhere that's closer to your work. If possible, somewhere where you can walk to work, or someone maybe where it's maybe like a 5-minute drive, 10-minute drive to work. Also, part and parcel of the things that you have to consider and look at is also proximity to public transport. Is your neighborhood on a bus route? How far is it from the next bus station? Where possible, how long does it take you to get to a train station? Things like that are very, very key. Also, how close is it like to schools and amenities? When I talk amenities, like it just depends with the lifestyle that you want to live. You need probably maybe somewhere where it's closer to the shops, it's closer to maybe your dentist or your hospital or restaurants. It just depends with what sort of a lifestyle you prioritize. But these are some of the things that are quite key. So obviously, when you've done all that and you've decided on a neighborhood, there are documents that are quite key for you to attaining a rental property or your next home. The first and foremost document that you need will be your proof of identity. This can be your passport, this can be your visa, this can be your BRP. You need to avail these things as a sign of who are you and what are you doing in the country. So it's very, very important. The landlord will require this, or the letting agent will require this. The second document that you need is your proof of income. This can be your pay slip. This can be your bank statement. This can be like any form of maybe your savings or anything, but they would need to see this document so that they can know you'll be able to pay for that property. So these are some of the documents that you need to avail. The other thing as well that they would require from you are references. If you've been living in this country, probably a reference of your previous landlord. But if you haven't lived in this country, what they asked from me, or what I've actually realized people get asked for, character references. This could be your employer reference, or this could be from maybe someone that you work with. So it's very, very important that you have good relations where you work and with the people that you live with, and also that you leave on a good note your previous landlord. It's very, very important because those references are required for you to get a property in this country. The other thing that they do check in this country is your right to rent, and this is a government requirement. So they actually you have to provide a link of the government website, which is gov.uk. So it's a legal requirement, it's a government requirement for them to see what your status, your immigration status is in the country. So there's no running away from this one. The other thing that you will need to do as well when you're looking for a rental property is to find a guarantor. This mostly is required if you are new to the country, you haven't been long in the country. So they would need even some letting agencies, even if you've been in the country for a very long time, but this is a sign for them to say, okay, in the event that you cannot pay your rent, who will be able to pay for you? So it's quite important that you avail your guarantor. So this can be your employer, this can be your family and friends. And guys, just a nod to the community, diaspora community. If you find someone who is struggling and you know them, help them as their guarantor so that they get their next home, because I mean a lot of people do struggle with this one. So it's very, very important. But then this is for when you have got no credit history. Some letting agencies or some landlords are quite strict about this one. But then someone was telling me of how they did it. They couldn't find a guarantor. They had no credit history. They were new, but they had a bit of like a saving, some money that they brought in the country. So what they did was to offer to pay 6 months rent in advance. So this is another option. If you cannot find a guarantor, but you've got money in savings, you've got money that you actually brought to the country, or you've got access to some money, you can pay your 6 months rent in advance. This is very acceptable. This is very doable. So you just weigh your options and see what's for you. So this brings us to the next one, which is which letting agencies can I use? So it just depends. There's so many letting agencies. So I'll just give you a bit of a list of some of the common ones that I can mention offhand. There's companies like Zoopla, Rightmove, Spare Room. So depending on the area that you're living, depending on who you want to use or what sort of property are you looking for, are you a student, are you on a skilled worker visa, or it just depends. So you can pick from all of them. And one of the things that I want to mention as well is the fact that lately there's been like a rise in private landlords. So you actually reach out. This can be like on Marketplace, on Gumtree, or on other social platforms, and then you make an arrangement with the landlord. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do. So after reaching out to a letting agent, the next step would be for you to arrange or to book for viewing, to view a property. How this works is that you could pick a slot for viewing in person or virtual house tour. So whatever is is open to you. Some people do struggle because of work schedule and everything. I do remember when I was at some point looking for a rental property. I struggled to really like get time off work to fit into the slot in which I could like view the house. So one of the options I was given was a virtual tour. So there's like you seeing on your computer or on your phone how the house is like, and they're taking you through everything. You can actually see the house and get to ask questions about the house, and actually a deal can go through that. So it's an option. If you've got a very tight schedule, you can opt for that. Again, while we are on viewing and things like that, there are things that you have to look out for when you go to view a house or when you're virtually viewing a house. This is like you're looking out for dampness, signs of molds, maybe marks on walls, and floors, broken floors, and broken maybe toilets, or anything that could really like be needing fixing. Or so those are the things that you have to look out for in a rental property, because once you agree to go into it, you're into an agreement and that stays. So you need to be vigilant around that. So after that, after viewing, obviously viewing, submission of references, one of the things that I do encourage people, or that was at least suggested to me, was the fact that you pay your holding deposit. This is to say, I'm interested in this property, while you're checking all the other checks that you need to do, so that can stop them from maybe availing that property to someone else. You pay your holding deposit. So as soon as everything goes through, you're approved for that house and everything, you need to pay your deposit. There's a deposit that you pay. Mostly it's just like a month's rent, and obviously you pay your security fees, which is another month's rent in advance. And again, guys, this security fee, security deposit, you get it when you move out of the property and you haven't broken anything, everything is mint, clean, and intact. You get your money back. So do not worry like, oh, if I pay, how will I get it? One of the things as well that I want to encourage our community, our migrant community, when it comes to rentals, is make sure you understand your tenant's agreement. Why do I emphasize on that? Is because I've seen a lot of people do say, well, I've decided to move to another city, or I found another job somewhere, but then I had a 6 months tenants agreement and I want to leave. So what happens? Should I just tell them overnight? All of these things will be in your tenants agreement to say, if you're going to break or renew your tenants agreement, how much notice do you need to give the landlord, what's going to happen, so that a lot of people have actually all of a sudden like dropped out of their tenants agreements and were not able to recover their security fee or their deposits, and it's a sad situation. So study the tenants agreement so that you know how to handle that, so that going forward, in the event that you need to leave that property, you need to maybe disengage from that contract, what are the implications, what are the pros and cons. I think, guys, that's everything I had for you about finding a rental property in the UK, guys. And if it's something that's for you, if you're looking into finding a property, I wish you all the best. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so, as we continue to share some of the things about life in the UK, life in the diaspora and abroad, guys. So I'll see you in our next video, guys, and thank you and bye for now.